Welcome back. Wow, it's been a long few weeks. In fact, 3 weeks since I uploaded here on Black Belt Secrets. So please do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And what an interesting few weeks it's been, and a tiring few weeks for me at least. I've been here, there, back and forth, doing all sorts of different work and training and so on. But I read very interestingly, which is why it's here on Black Belt Secrets, because I think it's much more deserving of being here than it is on my law channel. That Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Netflix docu-series has, I quote, been snubbed for the Emmys because it hasn't received any nominations at all, which I find quite interesting. Because for a Netflix mega hit documentary, as it's been dubbed, as a series that got a huge amount of views, to receive no Emmy nominations at all is quite telling. Now, I say that because if you take the content aside, as in what they say and all the critique, which is something I'm going to come back to, if you take all that aside, it was very well produced. It was a very watchable, it was very well produced. It was high quality, as you'd expect from Netflix. The cinematography, everything else. Sure, they were short on a bit of B-roll here and there that they had to take from other sources, but the cinematography, the filmography, brilliant, as you'd expect from Netflix. But obviously, a show is not just about how well it's produced. I mean, I'm no professional when it comes to producing videos here. I just buy the best equipment that I can find in the hopes that this produces a better quality video production for you. I'm certainly no director of film. I hope that with the combination of good quality equipment and some legal research, I produce something that's interesting for you to watch. But no nominations at all for the 6-part series as directed by Liz Garbus. No criticism, obviously, because it's, in my mind, in my view, is down to the public perception and the public reaction to that docu-series. Now, why do I think that is? Well, my view of the public perception of that docu-series was not a good one, at least from what I've seen and read. There are obviously some people that loved it, some people that still very much like them. Now, I've made clear before that I don't like or dislike either of them. I might dislike the behavior. That's different from disliking the person, or persons in this case. But what do I really think? Well, I think that it's sort of lost the public vote in the sense that it was criticizing their family, and not just any family, the royal family. In many different ways, it was criticizing outright the royal family. And lots of other celebrities have spoken out about it to say that they don't agree with it. They think it was wrong. Lots and lots of comments that I've seen, particularly in response to my videos over on Black Belt Barrister, have commented on it and criticized it because it was attacking the family. And it's sort of something you shouldn't do in a public forum. Now, lots of people have arguments and disagreements with their family, and they've got criticisms of their family and things that some people may wish to air publicly and say this is everything they've ever done wrong. But most people never actually go and do that. Most people would never actually go and do that. I think that's quite a rare thing. And I think when it does happen, even if any of it were true, I'm not saying it is, but even if any of it were true, I think a lot of people would still criticize them for that. Even if all these things were absolutely true, even if they came out and said, yeah, this happened and this was really bad, and this is why we're really angry, and this is why, and this is why, and this is why. I think a lot of people would still strongly criticize them for it. And that's why I think that it's received no nominations, at least from what I read here in Deadline. Now, it says here, as far as a lot of the family was concerned, everything that she was being put through, they'd been put through as well. The prince said, this reads, so it was almost like the rite of passage. Some members of the family were like, but my wife had to go through that, so why should your girlfriend be treated any differently? Why should you get special treatment? Why should she be protected? And then he goes on to say, and I said, the difference here is the race element. And now, frankly, I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that. It may be perceived like that in the way that it's been portrayed, but I don't agree that that's the real factor. And there are lots of issues that have been spoken about, some of which I'll probably come to in another video now, because I think there'll be a slightly separate issue and we'll go too far off topic. But there are certain issues that I just don't think, for one, were accurate in the way that they were put across. It may be a perception, but if it's just a perception, it shouldn't be put across as this is what happened. And looking at it another way, they just perhaps shouldn't be put across because they are probably just perception, and in any event, they shouldn't be put across in the public domain. Certain things just shouldn't go into the public domain. And so I think that a lot of people that would otherwise have made nominations held them back and didn't do so because of this public perception. Let me know what you think in the comments, because that's certainly how I read the situation. Certainly from the comments that I've read, the response to my videos, the response to lots of other videos I've seen out there. People don't like it when someone outwardly criticizes their own family, much less the royal family, much less than making fairly serious allegations, or what seemed like very serious allegations, which were then later said not to be allegations, which I don't really agree with. I think they came across as allegations, but as I said, I'll come back to some of those, I think, in another video. Let me know down below in the comments if you want me to really come out with what I really think about certain things that were really said in those interviews and the docu-series and so on. It's been torn apart by many different channels, and I'd like to think that all of us here on YouTube bring to you our own personalities, our own thoughts, our own way of looking at things and talking about things. I found two ways of looking at things and talking about things here on YouTube. That is over on Black Belt Barrister from a legal standpoint. Not that it's ever legal advice, but it's with the law in mind. Here's a fairly neutral perspective on these things. And occasionally, here's my personal opinion. And free to disagree with my personal opinion. But here on Black Belt Secrets, I think a more freer way of talking about these things, giving you my real personal views, which you are absolutely free to disagree with, and I encourage that. I encourage the discussion and the comment. This is a democratic society. One of the reasons, as I've recently had to remind others, that we all hold an Article 10, or wherever you're from, it's an amendment right to free speech or freedom of expression, however it's expressed, no pun intended. We have the right to air our opinions, and you may not disagree with those opinions. And unless it's something that goes beyond the bounds of what's acceptable, which is a fairly high bar wherever you are, we can express those opinions. And so I like to express those here. And lots of different YouTubers have found their own ways of expressing their opinions. So there's mine. That's what I think. That's what I really think. I think they've fallen out of favor because lots of people have thought that it was too much and it was ultimately wrong. That's what I think, that people that otherwise would have nominated for the Emmys haven't done so. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I enjoy reading those and going through those. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe, because we're here on Black Belt Secrets. And as always, thank you so much for watching.